You've forgotten who you are, not because you're foolish, not because you're weak, but because you've mastered the art of pretending. Pretending to be small, just a fragile human wandering a vast and overwhelming world. Pretending you have no power. Pretending you must chase love, worth, and recognition out there. But you forgot. You are the light, not a borrowed light, but the original flame, burning from the center of the universe itself. You forgot that every heartbeat within you isn't just biology, it's a whisper from source, and the universe has never stopped speaking to you, through signs, through intuition, through those strange, undeniable moments you call coincidence. You forgot, because this world was built to make you forget. The noise, the patterns, the expectations, all whispering, be good, be like them, don't dream too big, don't feel too much. But now, you're starting to remember, aren't you? When your heart trembles at a truth too real to ignore, when you look up at the sky and feel watched not by eyes, but by presence, when you begin to sense you're not just living, you're being guided, and that is awakening. Not a thunderclap, not lightning striking your life, but a single quiet moment when you pause and feel something so deep it has no name. An ancient soul opening its eyes, a vast being rising from the fragile shell of a human story. This is not about becoming someone new. This is a return to who you already are. You don't need to prove. You don't need to fight. You only need to remember. Because when you remember, you vibrate. When you vibrate, you attract. And when you attract, the entire universe shifts for you. This is not a coincidence. You hearing these words right now is not random. It's a call, an activation. A part of you, the part that's been silent for too long, is beginning to awaken. You are returning to your original frequency. A frequency that doesn't need to shout to be heard. It simply exists, and everything around it begins to change. You don't need fixing. You're not broken. You're not lost. You're just remembering, piece by piece, like stardust coming home to form a constellation. And soon, you'll see, every pain you've carried was never pointless. It was a doorway, a divine alarm clock, waking you up from a very long dream. When you begin to live consciously, everything changes, not because the world changes, but because your eyes do. You start to see life where you once saw chaos. You start to see light in the people who once hurt you. You start to see yourself in everything, and you begin to understand. The universe never betrayed you. It only ever responded to you. You are not controlled by fate. You create it, not through frantic action, but through unwavering belief, through the frequency you broadcast every single day. That is law, not some hopeful promise, but the sacred, elegant machinery of the universe. The law of attraction, the law of vibration, the law of reflection, all of them working even when you're unaware. Think a thought and you vibrate. Feel an emotion and you transmit. And the universe, it doesn't hear your words, it hears what you become. So the question isn't, what am I praying for? But rather, what am I vibrating every single day? You can't fake vibration. You can't speak of love while holding on to fear. You can't call in the light while feeding the darkness. Frequency doesn't lie, and the universe, the master of reflection, only delivers what you're radiating. No more, no less. You want to change your life? Don't start by chasing the world. Start by sitting with yourself. Sit down, breathe, and ask, what do I truly believe about myself? What am I really feeling about this world? What frequency am I repeating every single day? Because when you change your beliefs, everything changes. Bruce Lipton said, DNA doesn't control you. Consciousness controls DNA. Your beliefs are the switches, turning on or shutting down the infinite possibilities asleep within you. Belief isn't just what you say, it's what you walk on, breathe in, and live from every day. You can say, I am worthy, but if deep down you still feel afraid, still feel small, the universe will respond to that truth, not your words. And you don't have to be perfect to shift. You only have to be honest. Honest with yourself, with your fears, with your wounds, with the parts you once tried so hard to hide, because that is where healing begins. Joe Dispenza calls it stepping into the no time, no space, no self. When you move beyond the ordinary self, you enter the field of pure energy, the space of all possibility, where you are no longer bound by the past, by circumstances, or by the false identity you've been wearing. That is where you become the creator. Not through struggle, not through willpower, but through the alignment of heart, intention, and belief. When you enter a high vibrational state, you no longer chase. Things begin to find you, not because you're attracting them, but because you are now in resonance. You've become the frequency of what you once dreamed of. Greg Braden calls it the bridge between science and spirituality. When authentic emotion merges with clear intention, the universe responds instantly, and you feel it, not with the mind, but with your entire nervous system. A deep knowing, a strange synchronicity, a sequence of coincidences you can't explain, a person showing up at just the right time, an opportunity you never saw coming. That's not magic. That's vibrational physics. The more present you become, the more powerful you are. Eckhart Tolle said, real power exists only in the now, not in what you've done, not in what you plan to do, but in the depth of presence, where you stand, where you breathe, where you feel. In presence, you see through illusions. You stop seeking outside and begin remembering the light within. You're no longer a victim of the world. You are the creator of it, from the level of energy you choose, every single day. Awakening is not a destination, it's a path, a return. Every time you choose love over fear, you come home. Every time you choose gratitude over resentment, you raise your frequency. Every time you look at another and see yourself, you remember your wholeness. You are no longer ruled by circumstance, no longer begging the world to validate you, because you've seen you are the source of light, the source of love, the source of everything you once believed you had to earn. It was always here, inside you, waiting for you to remember, waiting for you to accept, waiting for you to enter that sacred state of presence where you don't have to do anything to be loved. You just have to be. And the very moment you let go of all the roles you were never meant to play is the moment you become truly free. Freedom doesn't come from escaping the world. It comes when you can stand in the heart of chaos and still not lose the silence within. That is the state of a soul who has remembered its true place, no longer swept away by the current, but becoming the one who shapes it. You don't need to conquer the world. You only need to stop fighting yourself, because every form of suffering, at its deepest root, comes from separation between the person you're living as and the being you truly are. And then, when you become whole within yourself, the universe becomes whole with you. No more closed doors, no more unfinished dreams, only flow, smooth, clear, aligned, and right on time. You'll act without urgency. You'll speak without shouting. You'll love without fear of loss. Because you'll know, love doesn't come from someone else. Love is you, radiating outward from the fullness you live in. Dolores Cannon once said, "We're not here to learn, we're here to remember. To remember that your soul chose this moment, this path, this life, not to suffer but to awaken, not to shrink, but to expand into the infinite. The more you remember, the higher you vibrate. And the higher you vibrate, the more you rise above fear, above the system, above the invisible chains that once held you. You are no longer a prisoner of the mind. The mind becomes your tool, not your master." Ram Dass said, "Be here now." Not because it sounds poetic, but because this is the doorway to every dimension. When you are deeply present, you connect with the entire intelligence of the universe, something the mind cannot grasp, but the heart instantly feels. And when you act from that place, everything becomes sacred. It's no longer working, it's transmitting energy. No longer talking, but sending vibration. No longer existing, but becoming a vessel of light. This moment, right now, you are being reminded. Not by me, but by the higher part of you, whispering, it's time to come home. You're no longer a wanderer lost in dreams. You're waking up. And as you awaken, the world around you begins to shift. Because one awakened soul doesn't just save itself, it sends ripples across time, space, and hearts unseen. You are frequency. You are the broadcast the universe longs to speak through. And the purer you become, the brighter your light guides others home. Tesla once said, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. That is what you are. Nothing more, nothing less. There are no limits except the ones you believe in, no barriers except the memories you still hold on to. And the more you dare to let go of what is no longer you, the clearer you become. Clarity doesn't mean knowing everything. It means being unclouded by illusion. From clarity comes power. From power, embodiment. From embodiment, resonance. And from resonance, you become the doorway through which the universe expresses itself in this world. And then there will come a moment, maybe tonight, maybe in the stillness of some early dawn, when you no longer need reminders, no more proof, no more searching outward, because you will have remembered, in a way so deep, so beyond explanation, that you are the answer you were looking for. You'll look into your own eyes and see no fear. You'll stand before the world and never bow your head again. You'll walk forward, not because you're certain, but because you trust. Trust will no longer be something fragile or vague. It will be a force, a mighty current, lifting you, anchoring you, opening doors you never dared to knock on. And in that moment, you're no longer someone trying to change their life. You are the very change this world has been waiting for. You won't need acceptance because you've chosen to accept yourself. You won't need love because you have become it. You won't need saving because you've awakened and remembered you were never truly lost. You once thought you were small, but the universe never saw you that way. You once believed you were weak, but your soul has lived through 1,000 lifetimes to arrive at this one. You once thought you were just a human, but the truth is you are consciousness wrapped in human form, here for one sacred purpose: to awaken, to remember, and to live with all the light you once denied. No one is coming to rescue you, because you don't need to be rescued. You came here to remember who you are, and when you do, you become a lighthouse for every soul still wandering in the dark, not by preaching, but by living with presence, with vibration, with light. And the world will feel it, naturally, like breath, like life itself. Because light doesn't need to be declared, it only needs to be allowed. Now, I'm no longer speaking to your mind, I'm speaking to your soul. The part of you that has been waiting so long to hear this. You are not lost. You are returning. You are not failing. You are being reshaped. You have not lost. You are making space for something greater to arrive. You are a vast, eternal, unbreakable being, experiencing this human life in all its tenderness, its confusion, its breathtaking beauty. And if you're reading these words right now, know this: your awakening has begun. You can't go back. You can't pretend you don't know. You can't return to the old comfort of forgetting. And that is the greatest gift of all. You've begun to see the world with new eyes. You've begun to feel the divine in even the smallest of moments. In every wind, every ray of light, every breath, a miracle. There's nothing left to prove, nothing left to chase, only life, full, radiant, flowing through you, because you've remembered who you are, and from this moment on, you will never be the same.